Now let us start with the today's lecture. That is second topic of the stereochemistry, that is chirality of chemicals. So before proceeding that, we must know about the chirality conditions for the chiral carbons. Okay, now let us see. First condition, when we can call it as a molecule should be chiral. The condition is that that particular molecule should have chiral center, and chiral center means the carbon which having 4 different groups, the tetrahedral carbon which having 4 different groups. Second condition is that if the molecule possesses stereoisomers, and these stereoisomers should be non-superimposable mirror images of each other, then we can call it as a chiral molecules. And third one is these isomers should be separable. Then we can call it as a chiral molecule. But now it has been observed that there are some molecules having more than one chiral center. You can see here this particular carbon being a chiral center because it has a 4 different groups. Consider this is 1, 2, 3, and this whole group can act as a 4th group for this carbon. Similarly, the second carbon, this is also a chiral carbon. So this whole molecule is a chiral, right? So as it has, according to the condition, it has a chiral centers, right? 2 chiral centers. Similarly, this is its mirror image of this isomer, tartaric acid. So this is also chiral. This is also chiral. So these 2 compounds are chiral. They are chiral molecules. Okay, because of they possess a chiral center more than 2 chiral centers. But there are some compounds. This is another isomer of tartaric acid. Even though it has a 2 chiral center, it does not show any kind of optical activity. Even though it possesses 2 chiral center, it does not show any chirality. So there are also some compounds which do not have a chiral center. They possess optical activity. This one is a cumulin type of compounds which have accumulated double bonds between 3 carbon atoms. This is another example is that biphenyls, which also do not possess any chiral center, but they shows optical activity. And the third example is the spiro molecules. This is an example of spiro molecules. 2 rings are fused with the single carbon, common with the single carbon atom. So this is a spiro compound. So these are the molecules which do not have any kind of chiral center, but they possess a chirality. So what is the criteria for this molecule to become a chiral? So there is a chiral axis in between these molecules to show the chirality of these molecules. So now let us consider one by one. So the first one is the cumulins. So the cumulins are the compounds in which 2 or more cumulative double bonds are present. So you can see here. You can see here. This is the parent compound of this family. This is known as allene, or one can say that is 1,2-dipropyridine. So it is 1,2-dipropyridine. It is 1,2-propyridine. Okay. So why it is dying? Because it possesses a 2 carbon, multiple bonds cumulated to each other. So this particular system is known as cumulated double bonds. Okay. And this is another example from this same family. That is, this one is a 1, 2, 3, 4 butane, and it is 1, 2, 3 but-tri. Okay, so there are 3 double bonds which are cumulated each other. So these are the 2 examples belongs to the cumulin family. So now when we are going to consider its optical activity. So if you look at the substituent, these terminal alkynes have a substituent, right? So in case of allene cysteine, in case of this 1,2-propyridine, all the substituents are identical. This is hydrogen, this is also hydrogen, this is also hydrogen, this is, so all the 4 substituents are identical. But when we are going to consider its optical activity, then in that case, the terminal alkane should have different types of substituents. So alkenes with unsymmetrical substituents means this substituent should be different. If it should be A, it should be B, then it should be C, it should be D. So these terminal alkynes should have different types of substituent. Then we can call it as a optical isomer. Then this particular molecule shows optical isomerism, right? Similarly, here it is, if this molecule possesses, if the substituent is A, this B, this is also A, this is also B. So this condition is that this terminal alkyne should have different substituents. Here it is also, this terminal carbon should have a different substituent. Therefore, it shows optical isomerism. The second part is that there is no need that the all groups should be different. Only the condition is that the terminal alkyne should have different groups. Here it is, you can see A, B, C, D, all the four groups are different. But in the second examples, in this example, this is the terminal alkyne. Here it is, this terminal alkyne having a different group. Here it is also this terminal alkyne having a different group. But whole molecule having two identical groups, right? The condition is that only the terminal alkynes should have different groups. Then in that case, it shows a geometrical isomerism. Okay. So next one is that. Now let us consider. So this is again same example. We are going to consider the optical isomers for the cumulin molecules. Here it is. This is 1, 2, 3. Right. There are 3 carbon atoms which are accumulated by 2 double bonds. And the substituent you can see here, this is A, this is B, this is D, this is C. The condition for the geometrical isomer is that A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D. So if the molecule obeys this condition, then it shows optical isomerism. Okay, then it shows optical isomerism. Similarly, here it is also A is not equal to B and C is not equal to D. So then molecule shows isomerism. So another condition is that when the cumulin molecules contains even number of double bonds, you can see here, if the molecules having even number of double bond means you can see here, this is 1 and this is 2. So this molecule has 2 double bonds, right? So this number is even number. If the cumulin molecules contains even number of double bond, then another condition is that the terminal alkyne should have different groups. Then the molecule shows optical isomerism. It means it is optically active. So those molecules which possesses even number of double bond and different substituent at terminal alkyl, then the molecule is optically active. So it is optically active. Okay, similarly in this case. In the second example, when the cumulin containing odd number of double bonds, you can see here it is, this is first double bond, this is second double bond, this is 3 double bond. Odd double bonds means the number should be 3, 5, 7 like that. Okay, and even number of double bonds should be 2, 4 in terms of multiples of 2, 4, 6, 8 like that. Okay, so when the molecule possesses odd number of double bonds and having different substituent at the terminal groups, then it always shows the geometrical isomerism. It do not show any optical isomerism. It shows the geometrical isomerism. Okay, it means it is optically inactive. So it is optically inactive. This is the main condition for the optical activity of the cumulin molecules. Cumulin molecules which possesses even number of double bonds being optically active and odd number of double bonds being inactive. Okay. Now let us consider why the cumulin molecule shows optical activity. Okay, so there are another examples for the optical activity. You can see that these are the groups. This is C6H5 and this is H. So here it is, condition is that A is not equal to, and here it is also C is not equal to D. So that all the terminal groups are different. But now count the double bonds. 1, 2. There are 2 double bonds. That means it is even number of double bonds. So it obeys the condition that having even number of double bonds, different substituent at the terminal, so it is optically active. It is optically active. Now in the second example, so let us consider the substituent at the terminal alkyne. So A is not equal to B. Here it is, C is not equal to D, and the number of double bonds is 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 double bonds. That means the figure is odd. If it is odd, then it is optically inactive. If it is odd, then it is optically inactive. Okay. So this is the way we can identify whether the cumulins shows optical activity or inactive. Okay. Now let us consider why the cumulin molecule shows optical activity. Now, if you look at this particular diagram, you can see this is the terminal alkynes, right? This is terminal alkene. These are the terminal alkenes. So they have, now let us here consider. Here it is. This is the terminal carbons. You can see these are the terminal carbons and they have always sp2 hybridization, while the middle one carbon always having sp hybridization. Now here it is, these two groups are always lie in the plane. They are always in the plane, and these two groups are always from the out of the plane. Out of the plane. Okay. So now let us see this diagram. So this is the double bond which is always twisted in the form. You can see here these groups are different, these groups are different. Now when we are going to consider its mirror image, you can see here this is the mirror image of this isomer. Suppose this is A isomer and this is its mirror image in terms of B. Okay, when we are going to place this mirror image over this isomer, then you can see that these are the different molecules. These are in the plane one, right? These substituents are present in the plane. You can see here those which are represented in the thick lines, right? Normal lines, they are in the plane, and those which are shown thick and dotted line, they are out of the plane. So when we are going to place this particular isomer over this isomer, you can see that these groups which are away from or out of the plane, or these groups which are in the plane, they are lying in this group. So that means they are away from the plane and they are in the plane. So there is mismatching of the groups. So they are not inclined with each other, right? So that means these two isomers are different isomers. They are not same isomers. So this is the condition for the chirality. Isomers should be indistinguishable from each other. They are separable and they are not superimposable mirror images. So these two isomers are not superimposable mirror images of each other. Hence, the cumulin molecules shows optical activity because of this, because their isomer are non-superimposable, they can be separable, they are indistinguishable, so the molecule shows optical activity. Okay. Hello.